does this affect the whole trust issue? Remember, while he was there was the
Right.
survey that came out that the
Right.
Filipinos trust the Chinese much less than they do
Yeah.
with the Americans. You brought it up that in the recent past with the
Yeah.
Arroyo administration, that's when that whole
Yeah.
mindset of China was, oh, this NBNZT
Yes.
deal, there was a corruption-laden deal.
And joint maritime seismic undertaking.
Yeah, and then how
also,
does
yeah.
it help now? Now,
Yeah.
how does this thing that the Duterte administration was able to achieve, going there, restoring ties,
Yes.
making it the springtime of the relationship, how does that help improve the trust of the Filipinos now to the Chinese?
Well, I think President Duterte will have a hard time translating his own popularity to improving China's image in the eyes of Filipino people. Because I think the Filipino people want to see tangible, concrete expression of goodwill on the part of China.
Okay. Hindi lang salita lang.
Hindi lang
Yeah.
salita, hindi lang pwede economics.
Right,
I mean,
that too.
You cannot just give money to the Philippines and expect suddenly we'll forget about everything you have done.
Right.
I mean, the reclamation activities of China have inflicted $177 billion of ecological damage, hundreds of billions of dollars of resources in the South China Sea and our exclusive economic zone. We cannot exploit there because of Chinese harassment.
Right,
So they
right.
cannot expect for $24 billion of pledges, suddenly we'll forget everything. So unless the Chinese show us goodwill on the ground, give our fishermen better access to Scarborough Shoal, stop harassing our troops and people in the South China Sea, I doubt that negative 33% will dramatically improve.
Now, there's talk about the prospects of joint exploration as well there in the Scarborough Shoal. How does that help? Will that happen, actually? As you said, so far it's talk right now.
Yes. I think the reason why the president is not giving us a lot of details, I'm very interested to see the details, I'm not getting it, is because this is a very tricky technical constitutional issue.
Okay.
Our national economy and patrimony provision, Article 2, Section 7, is very clear that if you're going to do any kind of joint exploration or exploitation, the other party should accept your national sovereignty. And that's what I doubt with the Chinese. How are we going to do that? But in fairness, the arbitration award that came out in July said that Scarborough Shoal or Panatag is a traditional fishing ground for multiple countries.
Right.
So what is our basis? Our constitution or the arbitration award? So maybe we need to also amend our constitution to be in consonance with the arbitration award. But the problem is this, but the Chinese are never adjusting their laws.
Right.
So why should we adjust it? That's why it's a very complicated issue. What I'm expecting is perhaps an informal provisional agreement to allow our fishermen to have more access there. But the problem with informality is
They
it could
never
be
even got that commitment. There was a
discussion. Yeah.
a commitment to discuss further.
Exactly, right. There was an agreement to discuss it in principle,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But my point is that our fishermen want to access any moment right now, and you
right.
just won a landmark clean sweep case against them 3 months ago. So I think it's high time for China to make concessions, and they should be they should not over-congratulate themselves.
If there's something that could have immediate impact, that's what it is. Because all these deals will take time to build whatever, all the deals. But when you allow the fishermen to go, the next day they're there.
I think that's really the low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah.
You can change the status quo very rapidly. But I think the Panatag Shoal alone also will not dramatically increase the image of China, improve the image of China. I think it takes more than that. But that's a good first step in a journey of 1,000 miles in reviving our bilateral
let's shift to Japan now. He's headed to Japan for an official visit.
Yeah.
Remember, this is supposed to be first.
Yes.
So, does that come into play? That Japan is supposed to be first, and the president said, no, I want to go to China first.
Right.
And then after all these deals made in China, what's going to happen in Japan?
Well, traditionally, you know that our leaders first go to the White House. But this time it couldn't happen because first, Obama is stepping out. What's the point of visiting White House at this point in time? And second, they have a very open diplomatic dust-up. So Japan was a natural second option, if not the White House for our president. So the decision of president to kind of postpone or bump down the Japanese for the Chinese and make the Chinese the first major state visit actually raised some eyebrows among our friends in Japan, because our Japanese friends tried to even get their Emperor Akihito, the reclusive Akihito, to even meet Duterte. And I think they still make sure that Duterte will meet them. Now, the Japanese, this trip is very important for them because, first of all, they want to get a handle of where is this administration going. Is this going to lead to an alliance with China? Is this going to lead to the end of alliance with U.S.? Where does Japan?
They're confused as well. They're confused and concerned.
Everyone has a dilemma right now.
Yeah.
This is a problem when you have a lot of contradictory statements coming from an administration and from one person alone. So I think clarity is the #1 thing the Japanese are looking for. The second thing is I think Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will politely warn President Duterte against the Chinese because they have their own problems with the Chinese and say, we have been dealing with the Chinese, we have a lot of trade with them, but they never compromise on territorial disputes and they're going to make life hard for you. So be careful, don't fall for their trap. I'm sure the Japanese will try to convince him to have a much more reasonable and less naive approach towards China. And lastly, I'm sure they're going to also ramp up their security assistance to us. They're helping our Coast Guard with large vessels, and they're going to deliver us more of that. And of course, infrastructure. The Japanese are #1 source of investments, ODA, and #1 trading partner. And they want to remain our top economic partner for the foreseeable future. And as China comes in, expect the Japanese to be even more competitive.
All right. Well,